Okay, so I decided to try something. I'm outside here. I'm in Shasta, California, Mount Shasta, a very um, energetic place where I'm currently staying. Doesn't have much signal, so forgive me. I'm here in a hammock. I will share this view. This is Lake Siskiyou. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. Wow, that's beautiful. See, I haven't even looked behind me. I swam in this lake twice today. It helps get the energies moving in the body. Sometimes when we're having a hard time, you need ways to move the energy. There are choices, and that's what I'm going to kind of talk about today. There was a comment on one of my videos recently, and I think my video was called Don't Look at Me. Yes, I was crying on the inside, literally crying on the inside. And one of the comments had to do more with like, why exist in this senseless life when we feel like we're going to break into a million pieces? Like, kind of like, what's the point? The more we know, the more we suffer, was the comment. And I can tell you for sure that there were many times in my life where I felt exactly the same way. In fact, a little story, a little background on me. I had a sadness within me from a very young age. And my home life was overall very good. There was a lot of fighting between the parents. That happened. There were many times that I would get sad and I would go and I would sit on the swing set and I'd hum to myself or sing to myself. I would climb a tree and I would stay up there for hours and hours, in these beautiful weeping willow trees. And I would hold on to the branch near me and then just kind of like sway with the wind. And I would do this sometimes if I was sad. See, there's that tightness again. Times where I felt like I didn't belong where I was. I actually asked my mom once if I was adopted. I didn't feel like I belonged in places. It seemed like the whole world was kind of mean, if you ask me. Why is everybody so mean to each other? It didn't make much sense to me as a kid. That thought continued later on too. Like, why aren't people nicer to each other? What's the point of not being a nice person to someone, not helping them out when needed, not including them when they want to be included, when they look lonely? That was one of the things I loved to do as a child, by the way. I'd be playing on a playground, and if I saw that a kid was kind of off to the side but would kind of look, I could see the curiosity in their eyes, like they wanted to play. I would go over and I would ask them if they wanted to join us. That's who I've always been. Now, you'd never guess, or at least my friends told me when I moved to Colorado, they said, that they would never guess that I ever had any type of sadness or any type of like version of depression. The thing I found early on was I would write poetry, dark stuff. I found some a couple years back, and had my parents read that, they probably would have taken me to the doctor, because they probably would have thought something was wrong, right? Because to them, they're raising this happy child. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like the world around me wasn't doing it right. It's like I knew that it could be done differently, but I didn't know what to do about it. So I, tried to do with what I could do. Tried to be happy in different ways. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It was different over the years. It started off being on a swing set and climbing trees, falling asleep in the tree. Fall asleep in a tree, yeah. 30 feet up. Later on, it turned to artwork. I would spend hours in a coffee shop, just drawing and drawing and drawing. Usually pretty, not scary, deep stuff, but deep stuff. So, why do we continue in this life? Part of why we continue is we know there's something better. We can see the ugliness that happens all around us. But we don't necessarily have to choose to be a part of that ugliness. There's a choice there. And again, it depends on what situation you're in. If you're in a situation where there's emotional abuse, physical abuse, oftentimes you feel like there's no choice. I can't get out. I'm trapped. A lot of us that aren't in that situation feel the same thing. I can't get out. I'm trapped. So the question is, how do we not feel trapped by our circumstances or our surroundings or our family or our boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, job, boss? I would say that we take small steps. We find small steps, little things that make us happy. Little things that make us happy but don't cause us harm. That's really important there. Because there's a lot of ways to escape this world. My escape, personally, was alcohol-based. By most standards, I guess it wouldn't be considered, alcoholic, but I was having 4 drinks every day or more. I was sharing with someone, so that was, it doesn't count, I'm sharing with someone, but it was alcohol was in there. It was binging on movies. Netflix was huge. That was a huge breakthrough when I just deleted Netflix. I couldn't do anything without something going on in the background, something to make me feel better. I filled a house full of unique, really cool old things that brought me joy. And later on, and I had a partner telling me, hey, we got a lot of stuff in here, right? Not hoarder-wise, but I was collecting and collecting and collecting. And I found myself, when I was sad or there was something in the world I couldn't control, that would be my go-to. I would buy something unique and different. I'd go and support a local shop. So nothing wrong with any of these things, but I know now that was my thing. That was the thing in my life to help me have kind of a sense of control. I say a lot, don't I? It's because it's my first time doing this. Please, I'll get better. And there it is. So, there are these different things we put in life to distract us. So I would say, first, what can make you happy? Concentrate on what can make you happy when you feel like the whole world's against you. Another thing I implemented was something called being the observer. When you're the observer and something happens, okay? I'll give you an example. I was at an airport dropping somebody off, and I had my trailer with me, and previously someone had said, "Oh, no big deal. Thank you so much for not parking under the garage. People get stuck there." So thank you very much for parking it up here, for coming to like where people, naturally drop people off. And I was able to go there for drop off and pick up with this trailer. Then I had this officer that started the second time I was there, because I was dropping off instead of picking up, get on his loudspeaker. "Hey, you have this many minutes, you shouldn't be here." So automatically, right, I feel unwanted. I feel scolded, like I'm doing something wrong. It flashes me back just to, either parents or like a teacher being like, "No, no, 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 this is not allowed." And I even went out and I talked to him, smiled and said, "I'm really sorry, officer." I said, "I do have permission to be here. There was someone earlier that came by and talked with me a little bit, and this officer was not having it. He was all business. He was straight-faced, just looking at me, no smile. You have to leave. You have to leave." So again, even that, you have to leave. That feeling of not belonging. It surprised me, because generally you smile and be nice, right? You're a human being. I'm a human being. Can't we just, get along? And he just wasn't having it, right? So he left, and then I got to decide how I was going to handle my reaction. Was I going to have a reaction, or was I able to pause and ask myself if any of this was true? Okay? So in me, I had created a story, and I have created a story since I was younger, about not being wanted, not being included. I don't belong here. I don't fit in. All of these, nobody's interested in me. Okay? That came from high school. I was everybody's friend. Nobody thought of me as much of anything else, right? That time where you want to date, right? So, are your stories true? Are they actually true? Do you really not belong? Do we have to believe what other people tell us? That we don't belong somewhere? I had one cop tell me I didn't belong there. I had somebody else at the airport say, "You're absolutely fine where you're at. Thank you for not fitting your trailer and getting stuck in the parking lot." Okay? So there we have some choice. How am I going to choose to take what just happened? Am I going to take it to heart? Am I going to be like, "Freaking people, man, everybody's so, man, they're mean." And sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm like that. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." The meanness is just, wow, Or do I ask myself, is what I'm telling myself true? Is what they're telling me true? Because oftentimes it's not. We even lie to ourselves about what is true. We go off old kind of programming that we've had since we were kids. Someone told us we didn't belong. Someone treated us like we didn't belong, and we believed them. We don't, you don't have to believe them. Therein lies the choice. We can all do something, and we have something generally that brings a smile to our face. So I would say that is the place to start. What's one thing every day? And it doesn't have to be the same every day, but what's one thing that will bring a smile to your face? Think about when you were a kid. What brought a smile to your face? Even if you feel silly doing whatever it was, even if you go and you swing on a swing, slide down a slide, if it's raining, splash in some puddles. What is it that's going to bring a smile to your face that won't harm you and won't harm others? Because we're talking about the world being a hard place. The comment was that people can be horrible, right? So, can you do something for someone else when you're out and about? Can you see someone and assist them with something? And know that you're tapping into your heart for that person. That your kindness to somebody else, that's where that pay it forward comes. And I know there's dark stuff out there. And I know that we get sad. We can even get angry at the world. But getting angry at the world doesn't help us come out of it. You know, it's kind of that we don't want to play their game. And we don't have to play their game. We get to choose. It's our game, it's our creation, it's our life. So go create the life you want. It doesn't mean that things are not going to be hard or that we're not going to run into people that we just can't understand. But it's important to shine the light that you are. Some people are going to get it. Some people won't. And that's okay if they don't get it. It's okay if they don't get you. But you are special. You are. Tell yourself right now, say, I am special. I am special. Can you believe that? Can you feel it? I belong. I do belong. I might not belong right where I am right now. I might want to change my circumstances. I might look into what are different ways I could maybe change the experience I'm having. What are some small things I can do that can maybe lead to bigger things, bigger shifts? Start with things that make you feel good. Every day, something different. If you want, make a list right now. Make a list, put it in the comments of things that you can do every day for yourself that make you feel good. You put it in the comments, other people will read them, it'll give them ideas, and maybe we can all feel like we belong. Thanks for leaving the comment. I hope this helped. I do care.